Good evening, everyone. Video may have killed the radio star, but will avenge them. You choose to rightfully aid that mission and joined us by tuning into KritzKast onto Highlander Season 29, Week 4. I'm Domaytoe, which might not even wield that much substance, but with me co-casting is CeeJaey, and with Dr. Underscore we even have an PhD producing.
Cheers Domaytoe, Aggro here. Just wanted to thank everyone for subscribing. This is an entirely community-run project, and without your support, we'd not be able to bring you any of this content. While I'm here, just wanted to let you know I've hidden a lo-fi long wave somewhere in this video. If you're the first one to find it, drop a timestamp in the comments along with the colour that it was painted and you'll win the hat. Now, who's on Highpanzer?
Vanu playing Scout tonight for a Highpanzer Dwop King, then onto the Soldier class Nebu, filling in the Pyro role. Joe will fill in the Demoman class, and Moikel then we won on the Heavy class, Law on an Engineer, Assassin plus on the Medic class, Fando on Sniper, and Ekio on the Spy class. Who's on inVision, CeeJaey?
We have Piyaka on Scout, Kavka Soldier, Grip on Pyro, Luca Enderman on Demo, Sting and Heavy, Asics on Engineer, Zeo on Medic, Norby Sniper, and Unforgiven on Spy.
We're starting onto our very first map of the evening, Koth Proot. After that we'll definitely, regardless of the scoreboard on this very map, play Proplant or see it be played out. inVision right now all tagged up, routing out from their own side on the blue faction, and opposing them are Highpanzer in the red. So take us away in the first mid-fight here, CeeJaey.
Yeah, I'm watching the demos here. I think this is going to be a really interesting fight between Luca and Joe. If they can, pump out that damage, I think the scout battle with the Ubers between Vanu and Piyaka is going to be crazy. But Luca does get taken down by Akio early on in this mid-fight, but the rest of the kills are all going inVision's way. They pick up 3, they pick up 4 as Dwap King also goes down. Singing is going to be traded there, but inVision just have complete control over the top of the map. And you can just take a look at Highpanzer. They do not want to be here any longer. They're backing away, and that is going to be a mid-fight win for inVision.
He's kind of a new addition. He is a prodigy, apparently, I was told, but he's a new player, so new players into established teams and into combos is always a bit of a dark horse,
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, especially when it's on Demoman, because Demoman is the driving force, one of the most important classes in TF2, and they need to be able to lead the charge and pretty much call those mid-fights. But as it is, we're seeing some pressure on the point here from Highpanzer, trying to just tease the cap. And look at Joe just walking so far forward. Grip goes down, gets taken down by the Soda Popper from Vanu as Assassin gets killed there, gets a backstab in from Unforgiven, who is known to go for those high priority picks. And in fact, it is going to be a cap coming for Highpanzer. They're going to get the capture point. They're going to be able to reset here. They are going to have a bit of a dishad here, Domaytoe, because they're 20% behind as Zeo is healing and Assassin just on the respawn. And just take a look at inVision, just walking forward, knowing those heals aren't in play.
They will be able to brute force themselves onto that point, only have to be aware that they don't fall victim to this aggression, though, as they're going to get completely wiped. They're almost. Zeo does survive, he's on 50 HP, however, his players got a bullet to the head, and afterwards Luca Enderman got double piped there by his opposing Demoman Joe, definitely serving his namesakes and serving the pills himself. I haven't seen this map before, but what I'm noticing right now already is that there's a distinct split in this flank, even though it's not that segmented from the point, and the main Uber exchange we already saw only happened on the flank. We didn't really see one happening on the ready, but the off fights or the off trades of the players seem to be what is deciding the flow of the game so far.
Absolutely. Just by looking, it almost feels like a lakeside where the flank area is kind of like the pool house, and that's where teams are holding their combo, but that allows for such free cap time, which is exactly what inVision did, but they just don't block that cap in time. They use their Uber, but they allow Highpanzer to get the cap, and they are in the lead now in terms of time. So inVision are the ones who have to get something done. A backstab from Unforgiven onto Fundo. Fundo had an absolutely insane season last time around. So definitely getting Sniper out of the equation on this map is going to be integral. You can just see how much space that affords them. Joe goes down to Norby. Vali gets piped there by Luca, and they're going to get that cap and try to reset. But this is absolutely chaotic. Zeo went down there to Dwap King. So that is just players being traded all over the place here, Dom. And I think this is going to be a very, very scrappy fight.
It is going to help the team that has the point and has a sniper still alive and buffed so far. Norby is definitely controlling and culling the aggression a little bit that is not even be able to get exerted there on the side of Highpanzer, as right now the Accio does come in with the cold steel knife in the shoulder braids of Stinger, and as he falls down. Then again though, the pick classes are delivering, as Joe also going to get a bullet to the dome once again, and they're going to use that Uber. Don't really get all that much done with it really on the side of Highpanzer.
Yeah, a lot of players got dropped there. Assassin used the Uber, was just looking around like anybody want to come in and take this invulnerability, get something done with it, but nobody was there. Unforgiven again dominating Fundo here, just going for those sniper picks repeatedly, and inVision just getting those picks, and because of the lack of sniper pressure, walking forward and taking the cap. They are in the lead right now, and again they're on this flank area trying to just pressure the spawners before they come in. But look at Lorne just getting the cap time for free with Dwap. The Uber is going to be used here. They're going to have to try and get Assassin. He has 65%, a lot of pressure. Joe goes down pretty weak, but a great job here from Vanu and the rest of his team just to pressure those players and not let them do it for free as the demo goes down. No Luca for this impending Uber. Assassin's at 85% here. Dom, 20 seconds left on the clock.
It was so great, my game just crashed, so keep me entertained.
Well, at the moment, it is all about Highpanzer. Over the point, they're going to use this Uber. Grip gets the force, actually, but Accio with the backstab is going to get Zeo down. So that is essentially a free Uber. Assassin using the Uber, the team gets the point. Zeo in the respawn queue. There's only 9 seconds left on the cap right now for inVision. If they cap and hold for that amount of time, they're going to win this round. But a minute on the clock with an Uber advantage for Highpanzer. If they can maybe afford Fundo a little bit more protection, this is looking good. But already inVision holding that W key. They want to come in, they want to get pressure onto that point, and they're just going to get the cap for free. Nothing going on. Unforgiven onto the medic. So much damage down onto the heavy, the medic, everybody. And scrambling is going to be Highpanzer as they're trying to just retain control of the situation. They're trying to get the cap, but they lost their medic. If they do get the cap, that's going to reset the spawns, but I don't think they're going to even be able to, Dom, because inVision have got the heals, they've got the players forward, and they are just cleaning the stragglers all over the place.
That is going to down right now, so basically I just went in and it gave me the microphone, but the only thing that I'm going to see is probably some players are going to get melted away. 1-0 it spells for inVision, as that, in my eyes, at least for I disconnected or my game crashed, even telling the whole story, Highpanzer really did hold their own grounds, and I even really liked 30 or 40 seconds ago where Michael forced the issue and forced rather Xeo there into rather passive position, which then forced the Uber inversely out of, and apparently they weren't really able to recuperate and by the round really of that good play. So right now inVision with a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, taking control of that first round, which I think is going to be really important. Setting the play here as both demos get domed by the snipers almost simultaneously there. And it's going to be an inVision cap though. No demos in play. Apparently that means inVision win the mid fight, but already Highpanzer, there's just no stopping on this map. The team gets the cap, another team comes in, but look at Piyaka, so much damage onto Assassin, goes down to about 40 HP, doesn't have the Uber yet, whereas Zeo does. A lot of kills going on the flank, and that means the cap going down there, Dom, for Highpanzer means nothing, because they just don't have the bodies to defend it now.
They're going to exchange the Ubers right now, and in paper it looks a little bit better for inVision because they don't have to flash so many players, but we have to see how the post-Uber fight is going to work out, as Highpanzer did get their players into prolific situations, as players also jump behind, but they're even still going to block that point, sneak away with around 12 seconds in their favor. However, Dwap King falling down, Zeo is going to get stabbed by Accio in the backline, so right now they are being up this point. Highpanzer is trying to make good use out of this Uber or even out of the healings dished out. Only Vanu really falling on the side, and Highpanzer is making good use out of the positions that they're putting themselves into, and almost only 4 players left alive on the side of inVision after that entire fight.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good if you're a Highpanzer fan right now. They have the lead in terms of the time, they're controlling the point, and they have an uber ad, a meaty 70%. Akio getting the stabs here, gets Sting Hand down, and that's a lot of HP off the field. It's going to make it harder for them to use as Joe gets launched into the skybox here, but that's right onto the medic. One pipe, is he going to get any more damage? No, but Varney's on the chase. He gets launched into the skybox and does with the soda popper. He doesn't just get the medic, he gets the demo too. He's still just causing havoc. That's absolutely insane. He lives. He also, oh my gosh, he actually lives and gets back to the point. 3 down from that Uber, including the medic, and Highpanzer are looking in absolutely great shape right now.
How big is this pit? He has collected so many frags. However, though, we see a high bump off off Kafka there, and he's basically lonesome in the spawn of the enemy team, going to get picked off there by Akio's little Letrank. In all of that happening, however, inVision did cap the point because Highpanzer backed so far away, and right now they do have this 20% or 10% even a negligible advantage over inVision, as they're losing players on the flank. Stingen is walking for them. It literally, Enderman also dropping some of his ender pills and teleporting himself right into respawn, apparently, as Fando gets stabbed. Some players are, I want to say some players are dying. Literally everyone is dying. This map is really, really obliging to a lot of people just dying, but apparently it helps the team so much that kept the points. So right now inVision are going to equalize the time frames.
Yeah, they're actually going to be taking the lead here. There's so much point presence as Joe almost manages to get the cap, but it's going to be a drop there from
Unforgiven.
Assassin. Massive backstab from Unforgiven. Again, going for those high value picks. Gets the medic, and that means Zeo has 100% ad now. Huge Uber advantage for inVision, and now they're looking in a good position in the lead, controlling the point. Lorne trying to get maybe a cheeky cap there while no one was looking, but it's going to take something big to dislodge them here, and Highpanzer have to go back to the drawing board.
If Assassin didn't put the 2 there preemptively into his name, then Unforgiven was definitely the one who puts the very first drop, as we've seen tonight, into Assassin, as they're going to get chased out right now, since inVision had the Uber still taking away, just waiting for Highpanzer to walk aggressive onto the Pyro, still in the air, going to get properly soda poppered up into the air and absolutely slain right there. Since we watched the point, we also saw that Highpanzer had a lot of cap time all the time on the point, but they never really managed to be able to, or never really managed to cap it. At least for like the past 10 seconds, and right now they did cap it, so it's only 40 seconds to go on the side of inVision. Highpanzer only have like 1 minute to drop down, and inVision 40 seconds.
Yeah, so far in this game, it's been a tale of can you hold on to this point. Teams are holding, controlling the point, having a lead, and having an Uber. But Zeo, the triple from Akio, manages to get 3 players there with the knife. The speed of the big earner, managing to get the medic and the demo. That's enough for getting 3, a third of the team going down. Still though, Dom, it does look like inVision are trying to pressure this cap, but it's in fact Highpanzer who take the lead now, 5 seconds ahead and counting, and right now it's equal Ubers. This could go anyway. It's just going to come down to the organization and the DM.
Fun going to get wrecked apart. Piaka is on a 4K, he's still pestering them from behind. The flank is going to further on pressure them from behind. Zeo the falls down to Dwebking. I was watching Kafka, I was watching Piaka, but they were absolutely no harm to the Highpanzer team, because then they got bombed, but they didn't care. They pushed forward over the point, and right now you as the opposing flank are out of position, and we are going to wipe your entire team. So Highpanzer with a beautiful rotation, they're just going aggressive, going forward, even trying some sort of forward hold, backing out right now, as they only have seconds to take down here.
Akio currently with 54 points on the board, more than any other player on the server. Nobody's got over 50. And
those 2 rounds, by the way, 2 rounds. In the King of the Hill, man.
In 2 rounds is a pretty good performance so far. That's going to be squaring it up 1-1 And Highpanzer finally, they managed to get a round on the board. And it's all to play for here. Let's not forget that the rules did change back again this season. So even if you lose a map on King of the Hill 3-2, you managed to get, kind of like a consolation point, a golden cap loss, as it were. So if this goes down to the wire, all of the points are for play here, and both of these teams are going to want as many as possible if they're going to be trying to reach one of those top 3 playoff spots. Akio begins the round with another 2 kills, and that's just going to open things for Highpanzer. They're just walking across the point. They
are onto Luca Enderman. They are further on corroding this inVision side, completely going to get wrecked apart there by the spy, and right now Kafka is trying to equalize some things, but Assassin does have all of his players. They're in a sort of forward hold on their own side on the little flank area, though. I also want to use this very, very short downtime to point out my favorite moment. Assassin ran into an SMG sniper and took like 90 damage there, but didn't drop. Essentially, though, you're right now seeing an Uber going to get played out, though inVision has to pop responsively. I don't really see if they need to pop there, but they have the better Uber in the result anyway, and they're going to focus some time, cap time off that point as Highpanzer are falling down, but it's not really decisive for any team. Until then, Assassin is even going to get every domed upon CeeJaey by Unforgiven. They all fall in the post fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolute slaughter there coming in from inVision. They just won that post Uber trade. They just popped the Uber later, but actually managed to clean up the kills. So now again, they're doing this side hold in this flank area, trying to get some early damage, maybe spotting Kafka on the high ground. Maybe not seeing as much effectiveness out of him as we normally see on these kind of maps, but look at Vanu already on the point pressuring it, and as Piyaka tries to contest, gets domed by Fundo, but a lot of kills coming in for inVision right now. Zeo gets pressured down to about 70 HP, but it's not going to be enough to warrant the force, and that's exactly what Highpanzer were going for there. They had to try and get this Uber out of play, but they didn't. Assassin at 70, rapidly approaching a charge, and maybe we're going to see another trade here.
Apparently it was a rush there, what I was watching from Highpanzer, because they all looked so aggressive onto the inVision side, but nobody really deducted from the player numbers and they didn't really get any frags, so that was a little semi-suicide wave for them. It doesn't do all that much per se, as their medic did survive. However, they did force Zeo in that entire encounter, so he has 0% as opposed to Highpanzer, who right now have the Uber. Zeo is trying to surf out, it doesn't work, however, as Highpanzer is going to cap that point. The heavies, so still on the flank, and Nobi popping some hits. Once again, Assassin +2, not dropping this time, but down regardless. And in any rate, they kept the point, but they basically got almost wiped and then got immediately really get any worse than that.
Yeah, inVision sort of still leading here, and Fundo down means that they can peek and get some information early on. Again, it just seems that the teams that potentially just so evenly matched that they're not, not being able to hold on to the point for too long, but it just seems as Akio again gets the backstab, gets a double, gets Zeo and Grip. That's a Medic and Pyro taken out of the game, and Highpanzer are going to get the cap off of the back of that. Assassin on 50%. Kafka jumping around, maybe looking for something, but Highpanzer so aggressive right now, getting so much damage early on, not letting them come forward. And again, it seems to be this side area that they want to hold aggressively, and why not? It seems to be the place where the medic is most well protected.
Highpanzer wants to show that their potential playoff spot is not a mere figment, as well as they're playing as if they want really to get into these playoffs. Assassin is going to get domed upon there. Luca Enderman once again throwing those ender pills forward, and this time around they're teleporting the enemy team out of the server. Fundo is going to get domed on Nobi in a 5-game. Moito also falling to Sting Hands bullets, so everyone almost is going to get respectively out-DM'd by their opposing counterpart. Only Akio staying alive, Highpanzer losing, Scout against Scout, Soldier against Soldier, Heavy against Heavy. So as the deathmatch 1v1 rained out, inVision reigned on top, and they are well over 1 minute to go only.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand. Every team that is holding the point with an Uber advantage just seems to collapse. We'll see if inVision can stop that kind of pattern happening. Zeo with 100%, Assassin only at 40 right now, holding in the same position but again, leaving this point completely open to the cap. And look how much cap time, look how much damage is being put down as Luca gets taken out by the heavy. So much damage, they lose grip, they lose Norby, and this is the team with the Uber. Why not use the Uber to kill the players who are capturing the point? Make it make sense, Dom. Somebody make it make sense to me.
I can make sense.
This is Lakeside Pool Room all over again.
No, they want to hold the flank, because you gotta understand, if you're on the flank and you have the Uber, you're not going to get forced. It doesn't matter who owns the point, really. You're going to get it there, and even more so than on Lakeside. I'll get to the point in a bit, as we are having an Uber exchange right now, so forcefully right now the Uber is going to get excluded out hands of Zio as they're popping the Uber to protect this point. Even Norby, once again, after he spawns, going to gun down Panzer and Warp King. Unforgiven, getting some counter smash into Akio in only 5 seconds. It seems quite iffy on the side of inVision, but I think they're going to look in very good shape, as only one last rather weak attempt is going to get excluded onto this point right here on the side of Highpanzer. They're going to get counter jump, losing Assassin. They might lose the like short-term fight here, but I think the long-term fight is going to favor inVision. Never mind, Zio also went down.
Just everyone has gone down. Everyone is just dying. Part of me thinks we're on the wrong server, and this is just like one of those DM servers, class limit 1. It just seems
MGE Proot, basically.
Yeah, MGE Proot. It's just the combo seems so focused on holding this side area, which admittedly harder for you to get forced, harder for you to get sniped, easier to spy check, but it gives so much free cap time to the people on the point, and everyone's just scared to go for it. 2 players down for inVision already, not going to be good for them if they want to get to the point. Asics gets backstabbed, Zia goes down to 1 HP, doesn't live, but the only casualty is the heavy on the side of Highpanzer. This is looking really good for them. They have to get bodies on the point right now. They're not going to. It's going to be Highpanzer taking the lead here, 2 rounds to 1.
You know why Highpanzer kept the point there? Because they didn't have Uber, and therefore they didn't stick to the flank, and therefore they even defended the point. Also, assistant switching to the crits there didn't really matter in the end, since he didn't tick up to a full, so they need the endgame crits, so it worked in the end. What I also, the point that I wanted to get across as well is, it's even worse than Lakeside, because this cap right here, it's like half the time, at least I feel like it takes half the time to cap it, so you basically get it insta-capped away from you and you chill on the flank. It doesn't really matter there. Vando is going to get a little fully charged body shot there onto Unforgiven, showing who the real hard counter to the opposing pick class is, and right now Luca Anima is trying to walk forward here, going to get some juicy pipes. Vando has body shots for everyone. He is staring them down so quickly.
Yeah, a lot of players dying here. Kafka into the skybox, lands on Assassin, but doesn't have enough damage to take down the medic. And at the moment, another mid-fight win for Highpanzer. Things are looking pretty good for them at the moment, guaranteed at least 1 point from this series. And if they win this round, they're going to take all 3 for Proot. And Vando starting to pop off here. 4 kills in this round alone, dominating Stinghand there. And right now, things aren't looking too good for inVision. They're just kind of getting out-muscled, out-fought. Every single fight either seems to be a wipe for them or them losing out. And maybe it's this kind of all-or-nothing sort of fight as they're going in here. They don't have an Uber. The Uber's been forced, but Zio is way too close. He's going to get caught there by Joe. And that's just going to be back to the drawing board for inVision. They're going to try and clean up some frags here, but Vando was the only player who died for Highpanzer out of that Uber. And you know what? You'll take that any day of the week. Vando not getting pressured. 5 kills in a row right now. They're looking good.
Finally a true and honest mistake there, genuine Highlander mistake onto the side of Zio or onto his combo. They're not blaming him. Alone in Team Fortress 2, you know, it is a team effort that puts you in such a disadvantageous position. They stayed 2 for 4 there into an Uber disadvantage beforehand. It was really difficult and abstract to point on fingers on what really was their downfall, because they always only seem to lose the DM and 1v1s there, as this game is so chaotic, and this map there's where Zio also being down. Assassin didn't even pop his Uber, otherwise they probably would have chilled on the flank anyway, as they're going to pump out all the heals forward into their own players. Keep so many alive. I think it really detracts from the fact, or we even have to highlight the fact way more, that inVision is looking so much on the back foot, and they're the favorites in this matchup, surely.
Absolutely. I mean, historically and everything, like, they're the team that is you know, wanting to win Prem, as Fundo goes onto an 8 kill streak right now. Uber going to be used here. Zeo so weak, and again is too far forward. Gets cleaned up by Vanu, and they're getting desperate. They're making mistakes. They're going forward into positions where they shouldn't be, and their medic has been caught out twice in a row now. Both of the first 3 rounds were back and forth. Could have gone either way. But this round so far is a shutout for Highpanzer. inVision just haven't capped, and there is only about 35 seconds left on the clock, and Highpanzer looking good for the win at the moment.
Fundo is owning all of this with his little body shots there, but if it gets the job done, that doesn't really matter. He's on a 9 kill, still nobody's trying to contest him already. So weak though, as everybody's going to walk on that point. Vanu falling down, Norby on a 3k himself, as inVision finally did cap the point. They still have this uber disadvantage, so they have to keep the eyes onto that holding behind the point right now. So sort of trying to kill the trend of holding onto the flank and then getting it kept right in the front of their noses until you can't really do anything against it. And it's a solo uber there onto their own demo man. It doesn't really get anything done. Going to get peppered there by the heavy, and lucky to survive in the end. Zeo did stay alive with a full uber, but they still found the frags regardless. Highpanzer, I think they are happy with that.
From Dwap gets the force onto Zeo, so far back. This Uber isn't going to achieve any. It's an MG Uber, and most of this Uber is just being taken off so that they're able to actually get the cap down. Nebu is going to get 1, going to get 2. They're cleaning up these players on the point. They have to touch it because it's into overtime now, but it's not going to be enough. Piyaka is there, manages to take out 1. Unforgiven is there. Was that a little spike crab I saw on the point? Maybe. But the point of the matter is Highpanzer are going to take Proot 3 rounds to 1. They're going to take all 3 points. It is going to be still Highpanzer in the red, and it's still going to be inVision in the blue. But this is Proplant. It's a completely different story. And it's going to be Luca Enderman getting to mid very, very quick, actually. Sticking off some areas. Joe significantly later. inVision already looking like they're kind of asserting dominance a little bit here. Akio slips by. I have no idea how they managed to do that without getting spotted. Zeo takes a bunch of damage, goes down to about 20 HP. Akio does not manage to get the kill this time. Zeo responding by moving to a different position. But a lot of players for inVision dying. They're going to get the cap here, Dom. I'm not sure if you're back in, but Highpanzer are the ones getting the kills.
Yes, third crash maybe was the last one for me, as this game is already spelling disaster, not only for one of the teams maybe, but also maybe a little bit as Pijaka is falling down there at the end result by a rocket from Dwapking, and they're going to exchange the Ubers right now. But the problem is Zeo really only has a lone pyro their grip to Uber on and to try to segment their foothold onto this point, as right now though they're falling to this counter aggression there from Joe, piping all the things away. Luca Enderman is going to fall there to full charge body shot on the side of Fundo. Zeo does survive, but once again not a successful Uber exchange in my book for inVision. No,
absolutely, absolutely. No. I'm gonna go the way of inVision, and again, you know what? I stand corrected. I thought this was going to be a lot more concise, a lot more clinical, but no, it is just as chaotic as the first map. And inVision, I'm not going to say looking desperate, but maybe throwing caution to the wind a little bit more as they're trying to go for the plays. But again, Highpanzer just not fearing going forward, getting cap time. Vanu getting cap time. He doesn't get backstabbed by Unforgiven there. It's going to be an Uber trade on the point. Both Pyros getting involved, just pushing people around. But look how deep Nebu's going to get Luca. And Grip also gets cleaned up by Vanu. Highpanzer taking these Ubers, and they're going in deep.
Not only was the whole Uber predisposition quite vacant, also were able to repulse off that, reap the fruits, because their Pyro was in a prime position to make use out of the 20 to 30% they had more and popped later there on the side of Highpanzer. And you perfectly described there as Nebu was so far forward, and the Pyro you can't really kill with invulnerable, so he's going to cause so many headaches there and so much chaos into you. Though inVision is falling right now once again and trying to re-aggress on this point. Essex going to get revolvered down there by Akio in the side flank, and they're 4 down once again and trying to scramble some players, trying to save their dignity there, as Assassin still has this little Uber advantage, or not even that much. Zio has it right now, but I mean, they still have to get on that point. They're on the back foot once again.
It's all going to be about who's going to be holding the point last, because obviously that goes without saying, but this has just been back and forth. This is just like the early rounds on Proot, as Ubers are going to be exchanged again on the point, but this time around, just taking a look at Highpanzer, they do not want to go in deep.
Huge bomb there by Kafka, and then completely face plants. That was absolutely hilarious.
But look,
anyway.
it just, inVision, just, they cannot control the point and win these fights without bleeding a whole bunch of players. Highpanzer are the ones being potentially more aggressive here, but they're losing less players. I don't know whether it's just they're winning the 1v1s, or they're just cleaning up and the damage calls are better. But somehow, when these fights are happening once the Ubers are over, Highpanzer are the ones coming out on top, and that's a real big issue for inVision.
Right now, the Uber has equalized once more, so maybe inVision might even be able to salvage something off this this dry fight here, but Stingen only going to find a bullet. Enemy Pyro is thrown into the air, and they lose the players of Uber right now. They might even get focused down there, as the scout is so far forward here. Vanu does the inVision medic, and he's lucky to survive for so far, but it's just bleeding all this time down, and they're going to get forced in such a passive position. Lost every single one of their vital players that were forward like 10 seconds ago, so that dry fight didn't work out for them, and therefore this Uber fight didn't work out for them, and it's only 20 seconds left on the side of Highpanzer.
Yeah, and Zio gets taken out. I mean, didn't have the Uber, shouldn't really have been in that position, but what choice do they have? 10 seconds left on the clock, you kind of want your heels forward. They're just forced into these positions where things are not going well, and this kind of last minute or so has looked a lot like the final round on Proot. Sting and Piyaka trying to get on to the point to get some cap time, keep this round alive for a little bit longer, but Joe just pumping out that damage is going to take them down. As standing on the point, just degrading that cap time. It's not going to be enough. That first round will go the way of Highpanzer, and after losing the first round on Proot, Domaytoe, they've now won 4 rounds in a row, and they are looking like the team that is going to be taking home most of the points here tonight.
Degrading is the choice word right there, because that is quite degrading still for, as they have to pop up some new ideas. I don't want to repeat myself all the time, but they have to play way more aggressive. I think maybe that should be the change of plan for them, as once again assuming this lower position as in opposed to Highpanzer, who are playing on their own little slope right there, and Joe is walking forward here. It is his scene. All the stickies are going to get forward, plucked away. He trying to walk in, but there was no one to be stabbed right about there. Kafka also falling right now. Finally inVision winning the first mid-fight because they got some frags. They stayed passive, they soaked up the damage, the aggression, and they even kept their own medic alive. So let's see what they can make do if they defend the point.
Yeah, this is going to be the crucial thing, and this is something inVision has struggled with so far today. Defending the point. They have control of the point. They have an Uber. The enemy team has had to use the Uber earlier. Zio using it so much later, like 60% later. And Highpanzer are out of there. They trade grip for Vanu. So no Pyro is going to be available for inVision to control this point now, but a lot of players dying now for Highpanzer. And maybe they're expecting to go for a bit of a repush there. They're not able to do that with those players going down. So things looking definitely a little bit brighter if you're an inVision fan. Able to just kind of control the point, and this is what we said, Dom, like they need to control the point. They need to be able to hold the point when they've got the advantage. Right now it's equal, and they lose Fundo. That's a lot of control. inVision looking strong.
Heavy quite forward there, even going to survive that Sting in this very aggressive position from himself, as Assassin walks forward with his team, doesn't have the full Uber up, but tries to get some forward ground regardless, and doesn't really work out for them, however, as they're going to back out once again. I don't really see the reason why. Maybe they just only wanted to reposition themselves and try to take the little roof there, but the roof right now is owned fully by Luca Enderman. He's still getting his pills out there, pops them out and forces them out so early. Have to flash so many players, so you already know that inVision has the much better Uber. It's once again from Luca Enderman. This right teleported back into respawn for Assassin, and this is the inVision that we know, and the dominating one that has able to pull out work all the seasons beforehand.
This is probably more what we would have expected to see from inVision. You know, getting that advantage and not letting go of it. You know, it's going to take a mistake to dislodge them from the point. So far, Highpanzer haven't been able to get the cap this round, and less than a minute ago for inVision to get around on the board as Assassin goes down to Piyaka again, and that is absolutely huge. 70% for Zeo, 45 seconds on the clock. There's barely going to be enough time. I don't think there's even going to be enough time for Assassin to get an Uber. And Assassin goes down again to Unforgiven. Oh no, Akio gets a double stab, but Assassin going down 3 times in the row. That's not looking good if you're a Highpanzer fan.
You might want to switch up your own name there. I mean, you already put the +2 in there. Assassinated might be the choice word right here, but you gotta protect your medic. Or honestly, on the side of Highpanzer, they do kept that point. Zeo stayed alive, still has the full Uber in the bank, and right now the side of inVision is trying to eye up this point from their own battlements as Luca Enderman tries to get some stickies forward. SX killing there, maybe not all that much that leads them forward anymore, as right though Pijaka is going to join the fun, and they are getting all the players onto that point. Might even be able to cap it without using their Uber. The players were not in position. The spike comes in, the soldier comes in. They force that Uber out, but a lot of players went down on the side of Highpanzer, and they have the benefit here onto inVision. The benefit of only 10 seconds on that point.
Yeah, they have to get onto the point now. Unforgiven gets Thunder, gets Joe, gets Nebu, gets blown as well. Okay. Unforgiven maybe taking a little bit of
taking it a little bit too serious.
From what Aki was doing on that first map and saying, look, I can do it too. But yeah, inVision gonna get around on the board in the second map.
He's not doing it 2, he's doing it 4. He's not doing his namesake, you know, like he doesn't do it under 4 frags basically. That's why awful. It's unforgivable.
I think he should be removed. Right now.
Still here. CeeJaey, have you finished eating your food? Maybe you can check on that second, but Fano is trying to pick forward here. I mean, definitely the one who has the grabs once again onto that vision right now is Stingen, is walking forward there with his minigun, getting so much pressure there into the opposing team. Both pick classes falling down early on the side of Highpanzer definitely diminishes their play makers and their play points right here. Stingen also falling in the end, but I think it's quite undecisive right now. I think inVision does have the edge there, though. Do they not
Ubers have been traded on the point? Probably smart from Highpanzer. They want the Ubers out of the equation while they were still in a good position. Dwap, though, with the rockets, is able to get a couple of kills there. And Zeo gets taken out by Fundo. And like I said, getting those Ubers out of the equation, really good. Because then it's just about the frags. And Highpanzer have been winning those fights. Big jumping from Luca, dancing around from Assassin, will keep himself alive for a little bit longer. And Highpanzer have come back with a vengeance here, absolutely cleaning house. 50% advantage for them now. Vanu, only 5 HP, will get out alive, back to his medic for safety. And now it's up to inVision to see what they can do against this advantage. We saw how well they could do controlling the point, but now can they push this point without an advantage?
Drop King is assuming a forward position. He's trying to scope the enemy team, and he's still behind them. Does jump out, however, is even going further jumped out there with the assisting bullet from Enorbi. As right now, though, since Highpanzer has this Uber, they're going to make full use out of this Uber, but it is once again Akio stabbing Zeo down. I was eyeing up maybe some inVision suiciding in or something in the same manner or relating to that, but what they chose was we walk forward, take a dry fight, try to force the enemy team, which happened. Problem is, if the pick class is there and you lose your medic, you're once again back to the drawing board.
Yeah, it's really rough because you're getting yourself set up. You probably have a plan in mind of what you want to do. You get yourself into position and then you lose your medic as Aki comes in. Doesn't manage to get to the medic, but gets a Luca, and no Demo Man is just going to be free reign for the rest of those players to go forward. Big bomb in from Kafka, but just doesn't get any value. A lot of pressure going down onto the players in the corner there, but Assassin has that dispenser armor, able to stay alive a little bit longer. Norby gets the headshot onto Joe, and at the moment, It does look like Highpanzer are backed into a corner. They have an Uber and they're going to use it onto the heavy and to Vanu. Vanu on the chase. Can he get anyone? He's being air blasted away. Stinghand is so weak, 7 HP. Doesn't manage to get the kill. That could be absolutely huge. All of those players survive despite having an Uber directly in their faces. Absolutely massive air blasting from Grip there to keep his team safe, and now inVision have an advantage. They're 1 minute behind, but they've got control of the point and they're in a good position to hold on to this round for a little bit longer.
First huge, massive portrayal of overconfidence on the side of Highpanzer. They had way better, I mean, they had Uber, which is basically way better than no Uber, but they didn't really have all that many players, and as you rightfully concluded and inferred, the Pyro was enough to delay and deny everything. They're really going onto their own players, and right now, still inVision has this. Was trying to walk here. Dwarfking is going to get fully shot, body shot away. Nebu also falling to Luca Animan's pipes, and Joe getting melted rightfully away there. Solan getting plucked away from Piyaka, so a lot of people still found a lot of frags surrounding this Uber. They got the frags down. Assassin still has a full Uber, however.
Yeah, and this is the big question. Like, a lot of stuff happened there. Highpanzer got a lot of kills. They managed to get an advantage, but they didn't get the point. They're using the Uber. They're going in deep. Joe, so much happening. Just gets yeeted back towards the point. Asics gets hit with the pipe. Surfs over. But isn't able to use that to his advantage. Getting 4 kills out of that Uber and a cap is pretty good. But Zeo does live.
Oh, inVision is staying so far. So aggressive in the lobby still. I mean, they lost 5 players. And Highpanzer walked forward with players and almost were able to slay the 4 players that were still staying forward in the side of inVision, but survived. So I'm just giving you the mic once again. Once again, we see a team pushing with an Uber advantage. The team doesn't have an Uber, so let's see how that brings out again.
Was that a saw? I was looking, but I don't think like 25% was gained there from Assassins. So they're still 20% behind, and
they just give the point up.
They just give the point up. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a freebie there. They didn't have an Uber. Maybe they just didn't want to risk losing any players as they were getting close to getting that 100%. They have it now. The question is, what are they going to do? It looks like they're going to come in from the other side. Maybe just try to tease the point a little bit. Aki getting into position. Uber is going to be used very, very early on, but Fundo's gone down. Norby also down, so both snipers are not here, and I'm not sure what inVision are doing. They're giving the cap for free, maybe rotating through main. Yeah, they're going to be trying to use this Uber through main and stop this cap. So much cap time for Highpanzer, but it's not going to be enough to get the cap. And look, Zeo hasn't even used his charge yet.
The Pyro's going to jump in. He is going to still stay alive. Wonderful predicament there that they pulled themselves out of there. Zeo plays a very sort of style there, baits the enemy team rather, really great, because in 6s usually we see a lot more where sort of medics try to retain the Uber even if they get rushed and the enemy team uses Uber, but in Highlander it's a bit more difficult because there are so many other classes that can cause harm to you, but you actually trusting there into his own team, trusting into his team further on as inVision is cementing their own foothold onto this very point, as Unforgiven got a 2k there. Dwarfking going to get absolutely reflected into Bit Zeo, only using that Uber at the end to further on take the 2-0 in their favor, and maybe they are eyeing up this 3-0 so to take the 3 points.
Yeah, if inVision win this next round, they will be getting 3 points from the board, but if Highpanzer win the next 2, it's going to be a 2-1 split for this map. Which does mean Highpanzer cannot go up to 3rd place today. If they'd won 6-0, they would have been tied up there with Failer on 8 points, but the most they can get from this at the moment is going to be 5 points. They're only going to be able to do that if they win the next 2 rounds, and things are definitely looking up for inVision after losing 4 rounds in a row in this series. They've come back to win the next 2 and are looking much, much stronger. But it looks like the aggression is all coming in from Highpanzer this time around, getting bodies on the point, getting the cap. Not many players dying, but Grip and Stinghand, though, dying there does mean that inVision maybe not feeling too comfortable with trying to get forward and defending that cap time. And now it's kind of the same as the previous mid-fight, but this time inVision do have an Uber to play with.
We've been way critical about the Uber management and the combo positioning on the side Vision, so we might need a little bit more on the side of Highpanzer, as the next Uber is going to get ticked up there on the horizon. The next Uber exchange as Highpanzer is going to significantly earlier. Zero though flashes a lot more players, or 2, I mean that is a lot more than, and though Piyaka is going to walk behind, gets some frags there, gets Moikil down, Aki also falling to the rockets of Dwapking there in the end, and still haven't really grabbed that point. They have a lot of cap time, but they really didn't cap that point, so it is right now Grip having to walk onto that, and Thunder also falling in the backlines. Therefore, the game, or rather the fight, works out in the way of inVision for the moment, since they had a better Uber management there and they made more use out of the positions that they were putting themselves into, namely walking behind. But Assassin gets there, CeeJaey.
A lot of players dead, and inVision looking like they're in the business of holding this point for the time being. 2:30 left on the clock, but Zia with 100% means that Highpanzer have a choice to make here. Do they go in and try to win a fight without an Uber? Do they keep Assassin safe and send in some sacks to try and get the force? What is the plan here? It does look like it's gonna be the former, as Assassin is out on the balcony here, and inVision probably aware of this. Luca and Piyaka just kind of sightseeing and making sure they have the info. The head
Suicide wave! Oh, it is going to get the drop! No, never mind. It was the dispenser blowing up. But, I mean, wonderful pop down to Zio. He went down to so low HP. I mean, that is a testament to his milking skills there. Maybe popping a bit too late, but he keeps his life. What a brilliant suicide wave we saw there getting executed. Yeah. However,
Tom, do you often rate a man's milking skills? I don't know. That was an odd.
Sorry, CeeJaey, but this is a normal English, noun. What you make out of that, that is your own business. They're going to walk onto that point, however, and Assassin still retains that 100, and apparently those high temperatures don't really suit Laner gameplay, and maybe you want to still keep chewing on your food as they're walking forward here, trying to beat on the enemy team, rather, as Highpanzer went so aggressively forward, and the first forward hold we see here. Yeah, no, fine. We see the archaic dichotomy of one caster taking the serious, the other one rather eating, and we also see maybe inVision still also keeping the serious, as have the full Uber edge up here. Assassin only has 50%, and once again some edging on that. Maybe you don't make anything out of that wonderful. I can't even put,
Nothing wrong with a bit of edging, Dom. Don't worry about it.
No, okay. Anyway, 100% still onto Zio. Watershed time, but we are post-capping time. However, finally, please release me that pain, as inVision is going to cap that point.
They are going to get the point, and at the moment, it's kind of, well, we're looking at the edge here.
What's
map
this
point
Uber
for Highpanzer, because
that was Uber, by the way.
Yeah, Uber gone, but Zio still has 100%, and they're the ones who can just use onto the point here. They're in a decent position to do so if they want to. Luca trying to spam the point a little bit more, but no, they're just deciding not to use the Uber against a team that doesn't have Uber and let them take the point for free. Not sure about that choice in strategy. We'll see if it works out for them.
I mean, they seem to be
now.
new to casting. I mean, they don't have to, I mean, you're also eating during the cast, but it can be a strategy apparently to not use the Uber. I would have definitely tried to absolutely eradicate their faces there with a full Uber advantage, but they chose not to. Kept the point right now, only lost SX and Kafka on their own side. It means right now the Assassin has a 60% Uber advantage. They're eyeing up this point once again. You have to keep in mind that it is all on the line for Highpanzer here, so they have to play rather ferocious. Unforgiven falling down. Luca Enderman as well, so it really weakens the defensive possibilities there on the side of inVision, as also Accio styled on to their own team, and Highpanzer is trying to once again assert some dominance. They're walking forward into a potential forward hold.
This could be absolutely devastating. If they're going to have this forward hold, 80% for Zio, they're not going to have too much time here. The heavies are going to go face to face, and Stingan is going to get a face full of minigun. The Uber is going to be used by Assassin though, and they don't really achieve much. They lose Vanu out of it, and that's not going to be good. They lose Fundo too. They're dropping players here, and they've just handed inVision a free Uber. Zio has 100%. They've given them all the space. This forward hold has been absolutely disastrous for them, and Highpanzer potentially have thrown away what was looking like to be a good round. The force does come through. Nebu is pushing people off the point. We're into overtime now as the cap does go inVision's way, but Highpanzer just need to capture this point in the next 33 seconds and they will tie things up 2-2. But they're going to have to do it without an Uber here, Dom, because 40% for Assassin, it's not going to be enough time.
The conflict got quite apparent there. Maybe they wanted to try new strategies, but they also wanted to win the game, so they weren't really sure which one, so they decided to try new strategies apparently, and unfortunately it didn't really work there. They might have just thrown it all on the table and the table collapsed under all of that. Assassin is right now still building his Uber up, so it will maybe even be about those Ubers, but they have to keep the point. No! inVision is only going to flak onto that point. They're going to delay this point, defend this point. Assassin goes down, so clutch, overtime, both teams, and they've almost even done it by sheer force of capping it. Doesn't matter in the end. CeeJaey, it is going to degrade, and degrade once again is the word of the match. inVision taking it 3-1, slim margins of like 1 or 0.5 seconds there in the end, but ultimately Highpanzer not capping.